Hello.
Sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Sir, 5 minutes, sir. It will start.
Good morning, Professor Lazarus.
Professor, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
I'm sure
I
all-
remember.
Sir,
I
good
remember
morning,
meeting you
sir.
once in Pondicherry.
Oh, really?
I was in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for that at that time.
Okay.
I came for a doctoral committee of Professor Mohan's scholar. That
Okay.
time I met you.
Okay. Nice to meet you. I wish you a happy new year. Huh?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, people
Dr.
are.
Lazarus,
Yeah.
good morning and Happy New Year to all of you.
Thank
Can
you,
you
Professor.
can you appear in the video because your name in face is not visible? You are hiding yourself as usual.
Yeah, you know my face.
You are known for your low profile and high value, highly valuable, but keeping a low profile.
That is as usual. That is a feature of Dr. Prasad.
That's what I use the word as usual. Silent but highly successful. Yeah. Professor, you switch on the
Yes.
video.
Is Professor Mrudul joining?
So I'm not sure, sir. I think his name was there.
Sir, myself is in a slow condition just for a few minutes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Prasad. Happy to see you. The
Yeah.
steel person of classic. Yeah. Why I'm calling him a person of steel body? He is a all-weather. He is present with the all-weather body structure and not affected by extreme cold or extreme heat. He never wear any sweater in Delhi, even December or January. Okay, nice to see you, sir. Wish you a happy new year.
Same to you, I have already said, yeah.
Yeah.
How is Pondicherry, sir?
Yeah, Pondicherry is as usual. Now, just now the New Year celebration was over, the so-called celebrations. Now getting normal because they didn't announce any major lockdown even the New Year Eve.
Okay.
While Tamil Nadu announced a lockdown and Band also, they didn't allow anybody to come out of their home during the New Year, anticipating the spread of the new virus.
Third wave.
Yeah, third wave or fourth wave, one of the waves. Now Pondicherry allowed everybody to celebrate in all the beaches. The celebrities were invited, so many thousands and thousands youth from Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu. They flocked and they occupied almost all each and every corner of Pondicherry for 2 days. Now city is normal.
Do you think there will be a spurt in the cases?
Pardon?
Spurt in the cases, number of cases, will they increase? Do you think so?
Slowly, but it's not a big thing, big threat. That's what people are selling it. Yesterday, the White House health secretary openly confessed that this Comigeran is not affecting the people seriously, but especially there is not much casualty like corona. It is like cold or some small fever. It will be all right within 1, 2, 3 days automatically. So we need not create panic out of this Omicron. That was the report of White House press secretary yesterday. Huh? Pardon?
That's true.
Let us hope for the best.
Delhi, I think Maharashtra and Kerala, I think the number of cases have been increasing significantly.
Maybe
Not normal corona cases, not
normal corona cases, not Omicron.
not Omicron.
In Maharashtra and some places they are not vaccinated properly. In UP also, they say now they may utilize this corona or Omicron to conduct and win the election also. Like what demonetization helped one
Yeah.
party to weaken the opposition's black money, especially Mayavadi was disarmed. All the 500 rupees notes were not able to utilize 1000 rupees notes. Now,
These days,
Omicron will be
Mayawati is very silent, sir. Very silent.
Very silent. She's not at all making any statements.
Which one?
Mayawati.
Mayawati.
Yeah, because obviously, see, it's a democratic is a most powerful system of governance, which is transforming political parties or terminating political parties. If party is not ready to transform, the democracy will finish the political party. That's all. It's applicable to all political parties, including Marxist Party of India. They ruled West Bengal more than 30 years. But democracy destroyed the political party because political party was not ready to learn anything from democracy. The same fate will happen to all the political parties, including Congress also. Huh? Pardon? So when will be the official meeting will start? So
I think they are waiting,
They are waiting
for
for
the
the
computer
registers,
operator, I believe.
okay, then we can relax for 10 minutes and we will rejoin. Let them call me. Yeah, we have so many other priorities also. Yeah.
What is your purpose?
Meeting number.
Sir?
Meeting.
మీటింగ్ నెంబర్ వచ్చేసి 2641 634 7680.
Prasad sir, I had a brief conversation with Professor Patnaban today morning.
Oh,
Sir's wife is sick these
Wow.
days.
2021.
okay. How is
021.
Professor Padmanabhan?
He's fine, sir, but his wife has a paralytic stroke.
Oh,
And she's,
how long back?
I think just sometime it happened in December.
Okay.
I think she's bedridden these days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll also talk to him soon. It's a long time back I spoke to him. Now they are having public administration in Rajiv Gandhi Institute. Dr. Girisan?
Chandigarh Regional Center.
Huh?
Offering from Chandigarh Regional Center, but classes are happening online.
Okay.
There are very few takers, sir. Only some 6-7 students.
From
Only I think some 10-12 joined, but 4-5 students dropped out.
oh. So people at Rajiv Gandhi Institute don't have classes then.
No, sir, there is nothing new in that. It's a
Oh.
conventional program.
Yeah, that's true.
There is nothing new. What has been
Mm.
discussed 20 years back, same thing is happening now.
Mm.
unless some uniqueness is there, some kind of some linking with the priorities in the field, most like public administration cannot take off.
Whatever we are speaking, it is coming on the screen.
Pardon, sir?
Whatever we are speaking, it is coming on the screen, I'm saying.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that this can happen.
No, we can hide the captions, sir.
Hmm?
I have hidden the captions.
Oh.
If there is an option, show captions.
Okay.
ఇప్పుడు దాంట్లో మాట్లాడు ఇక్కడ connect చేస్తాం. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Satish.
Good morning.
Very good morning to you all. Senior Professor Dr. Professor Kodeshwar Prasad sir, Professor Lazarus sir, Professor Girishan sir, and Professor May, Rudal May, and Dr. Govardhan Naidu sir. Very good morning to you all. And can I start? Am I audible,
Good
sir?
morning.
Am I audible, sir?
You are audible. Is Professor Mridul joining? Will he be joining or?
Sir.
Professor Mridul from Mumbai joining?
Minutes, I think, sir. 1 second, sir.
Girishan sir.
Hello.
Sir, Girishan sir. Very good
Yes,
morning,
yes.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Wish you happy new year, sir.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you, Dr.
Samra sir,
Gopal.
Lazarus sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Wish you happy new year, sir.
Sir, why you are hiding and wishing? Hmm? I want to see you and wish you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your wishes. I also wish you the same.
Sir, Kodeshwar Prasad sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Andy.
Wish you happy new year, sir.
I too wish you a happy new year, Andy.
Thank you, sir.
Sir. వినపడుతుందా అది అక్కడ రానా
వినపడుతుందండి. మృదులు కనుక ప్రొఫెసర్ మృదులు కనుక ఫ్రీగా లేకపోతే తర్వాత జాయిన్ అవుతారు.
Sorry for the technical problem, sir. And I request Computer the system సరిగ్గా లేకపోతే we can't.
You are quite audible, Andy. Go ahead with the program. You can talk.
Sir, I request Professor Lazarus sir to share your views regarding the structure of the curriculum and your opinions regarding the political leadership and governance. Am I audible, sir? Professor Lazarus sir?
You are audible. You are audible. Yeah.
Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning and wish you a happy new year. Once again.
Good morning, sir. Good
Yeah.
morning.
So
Very good morning,
send
sir.
me the curriculum development to my WhatsApp also, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I'm searching for your two WhatsApp. Today I opened it. If you don't mind, can you send the syllabus to my WhatsApp again so that I can verify the WhatsApp and give my opinion, because it's not possible to open the email simultaneously. And but it's a very, very useful, very, very innovative curriculum. At the outset, I would like to appreciate you for initiating such a wonderful curriculum in the name of leadership, because the greatest crisis, by the time I request Mr. Sadish to send the structure to my WhatsApp before my briefing, so that I will give one by one opinion. You see, the greatest crisis we are facing today is leadership crisis. Leadership crisis is the greatest crisis from the family level to the national level to international level. So we need visionaries at the family level to international level. See, without leadership, the system will collapse. The success and failure of any system mainly depends upon the quality of leadership. That's why I'm not giving a lecture. Sorry, please tolerate me. History is called history or her story, nothing but history of successful heroes and heroines. The individuals are creating history, making history, and making history. That's why leadership is a very, very important subject matter to be studied at the higher levels. I again repeat, it is from family level to the top international levels. See, if you want to have a vision-oriented curriculum should be prepared for the next generation. I have gone through the curriculum. You are talking about constitution, political proceedings, so many things. Because I do not know, I request Sadish to send the syllabus again, please, to my WhatsApp. See, 2-3 important areas you should incorporate in the syllabus. One is leadership and integrity. Leadership and integrity. That subject should be included in the subject, in the syllabus, because see, Mahatma Gandhi once said that immoral person cannot be a good democrat. See, morality, integrity of leadership matters a lot. The first American president, George Washington, was branded as a man who never told a lie throughout his life. When he was asked to contest the election again the third time by Thomas Jefferson, he replied that, what's the difference between King George and President George? He refused to contest. He made a precedent till F.D. Robertson was elected for the third time. Fourth time he contested the election. Then they made an amend the law. So we need leadership with vision and integrity, like Abraham Lincoln, Lal Bahadur Shastri. So the subject matter integrity should be included in this syllabus. This is my first suggestion.
Oh, sir.
Second suggestion is leadership and family. The greatest strength of India are two. One is family, another is IT. So now the second greatest strength of India is systematically trying to destroy the first greatest strength of India, family. Family is disintegrated, divided, scattered, and spoiled because of IT. IT is spoiling the oneness of family. Then family and leadership. That should be another, because most of the leaders failed in one area, that is family area. They do not know how to maintain a well-disciplined, well-organized family. Charity begins in home, leadership and family. This is the second paper I am suggesting. The third paper I am suggesting is, so the first paper, integrity, you can add about moral values, ethical values, all the things.
Sir.
Second, family, you should probably it's about the papers about unit about the importance of family, investing the time with the family, building the family, because I'm a teacher of terrorism. From my research of more than 20 years, I found that the root cause of all the terrorist activities started from family. Because I used to say that the first son of the first couple was the first terrorist, according to biblical, Jewish, and Islamic tradition. Adam, Eve's first son, Cain, killed his own brother Abel. The first terrorism started was individual terrorism. It is continuing in multi-dimensional way. So terrorism started in family, should be ended in family only. So that's why I insisted the importance of family, where you can teach about gender equality, property rights, human rights, rights and duties and responsibility of children. How a law-abiding children should be groomed inside the family. All the things should be discussed in the family syllabus paper. Then integrity, I told you about the moral value. Ill-gotten wealth brings domestic disaster. Then third paper I am suggesting is that debates are great issues. There should be one paper on debates. I already told you the leader should be a great communicator. In Tirukkural, Thiruvalluvar once said that Solalvallan, Solbiran, Anjan, Avani, Igalvallan, Yarukum, Aridu. Professor Kodiswarar Prasad may be knowing. Those people have excellent communication skill, will be more vibrant, will not get tired, more articulative. Nobody can beat the fellow with extraordinary communication skill. That was Thiruvalluvar said. Great leaders are great communicators. Take the case of Abraham Lincoln. By the people, for the people, of the people. That statement he uttered in Gettysburg never will be forgiven. Ever will be remembered. That term will be ever remembered. Great communicator, great orator, Ronald Reagan. Nehru was a great orator. Our leader Vajpayee was a great orator. There are so many orators in history. Ronald Reagan was a great communicator. Ronald Reagan, great communicator. Winston Churchill, great orator. The oratory skill, even our present Prime Minister Modi, he is branded by so many people as a great communicator. So communication skill can be developed through their debating skill. So we should train the leaders how to debate on various topics of relevance. See, there should be a separate semester for that. Even I suggest the course coordinator to continue the debating session irrespective of the course throughout the course. Every week there should be a debating day. You can form two groups. One group can debate for the policy, another is against the policy. Because people representatives are expected to debate on the issues on the floor of the parliament and as well as before the people, the audience, and before the camera, the media. So they should be effective communicators. So it is the responsibility of the university to train the future leaders as effective communicators. So debate on all issues. Any issue, even gender equality, about terrorism, about GST, about demonetization, about farm laws, about election commission, voting mission, all topics should be thoroughly discussed systematically. You can invite periodically one of the professors to be the monitor. You can invite learned professors from other higher education institutions to coordinate the debate. The debating ability gives a lot of inner strength to the student. He can debate with a lot of authority and clarity. So you can invite Kodiswaras Prasad, the learned doyen of political science, to be the moderator. If nobody is available, I am ready to come. Sadish?
Sir.
Yeah, nobody is ready to come. I am ready to come to monitor one of the debates. So debate will be the part of the curriculum.
Sir.
Paper. The fourth paper is languages. See, I am from Tamil Nadu, I am from Pondicherry. We are opposing three language formula here, the government and people at large. I strongly suggest the department to create opportunity to the students to learn more than 3 languages. He should be well versed in English. You invite some learned professors to teach them how to wrap letters with stylish and effective English. They should be great writers. Like Thomas Jefferson has written so many letters to his party people. Karnanidhi has written so many letters to his party people periodically, daily basis. So they are expected to write everything apart from oratory skill. So you teach them how to draft a complaint, how to draft a memorandum, how to draft a proposal. All the drafting skills should be developed. Number 1, English. Number 2, your vernacular language, Telugu. Number 3, in Hindi. Though I do not know Hindi, I know only one word, chalo. Though I am visiting Delhi so many times, I rarely learn Hindi. That's a different thing. But I suggest you to teach them the working language of Hindi. And fourthly, I suggest you to teach them one more Indian or foreign languages. See, the person who belongs to your state, Mr. Narasimha Rao, was considered as one of the successful Prime Minister of India. He was well versed in 9 languages. If you learn more and more languages, you will get more and more clarity. You create opportunity to the students to learn minimum one foreign language apart from English and one more Indian language apart from Telugu and Hindi. So that they will be well versed in 5 languages. The fourth topic I would like to suggest is field work. Field work. You take the leaders in different parts of India. For example, there are innovative examples. The best village Panchayat Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore. There are so many successful stories in India itself. See, the most beautiful villages in Meghalaya, the most well self-sufficient panchayat. There is a panchayat near Coimbatore.
Sir.
Huh? No. It's a self-reliant village, Coimbatore, Odalur Panchayat. You take them.
Odandurai.
Take the leaders. See how the villages are able to convert the village into a self-reliant, self-sufficient, 24-hour electricity, 24-hour water supply, 100% literacy. How it is possible? Well-built road. You show them such a story. You take them to Meghalaya, the most beautiful village panchayat in the world. How to maintain cleanliness. Then you can take to the worst place, Bursar. The center of terrorism. You go to take them to different parts of Naxalite centers, Naxalite areas. What is lacking? What is lacking there? As a leader in waiting, they should be in a position to learn the problems of the society and solution of the problem. Odalur Panchayat. See, they should know how to plan the war and working on the plan. For that, they should have the first-hand information about India. You take them to different parts of India. First, within your state, within your district, in and around your institution, let them study the problems of each and every villages. This is the fourth paper. Fifth paper is there should be a project work. Field-centric project work. They should be allowed to stay in a village or 1 or 2 weeks or during the time of summer. They should study the problem and they should be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I'm not asking them to, this is part of the courses I am telling. Any one of the villages, let them go and study the problem and formulate the problem solving solutions. Finally, sixth is one dissertation should be there on major issues of the world. Major issues of the world and the solutions for the issues. The first project is field-centric project. The second project is problem-centric project. First project is village-centric. The second is problem-centric. So that they will emerge as best writers, best communicators, best analysts, best problem solvers, best statesmen. So institutions' responsibility is creating leaders. We involve in leadership building project, man-making project, Man making means human building. Human building is nation building. We are expected to build our nations through our institution by creating innovative. I'm taking more time. If you see that I'm making more time because I do not know why you ask me to talk. That's the weakness of me. If you allow me to, I will continue to talk endlessly because so many seniors and well-learned person like Kodiswara Prasad is waiting, and I don't want to take much time. These are my humble suggestions. Then another important thing I would like to say is that you are about the structure of this syllabus. You talk about understanding India. See, it is necessary to teach the leaders about the multiple identities of Indian state. You should know the history of Indian state. India was not India till we gain independence. Even after gaining independence, India was an agreement, born out of agreement through the constitution. We should teach them how to understand and respect the diversity of India. India is not UP alone. India is not Nagpur alone. India is not Delhi alone. India is not Hindus alone. India is not Christians or Muslim alone. This diverse should be nourished, nurtured, respected, and promoted. Then only India will be India. Otherwise, India will be balkanized. The United States of India will be onion state of India. There will not be any union. It will be onion. So it is the responsibility of each and every person to work for the unity of India and diversity of India. These are my suggestions, and I'm sorry, I'm taking more time. I am learning from my best learned colleagues like Professor Kodiswara Prasad and other people. Thank you very much for tolerating my presentation. Thank you. If you have any opinion, if you want to have discuss anything, I feel free. I'm ready to give my feedback according to your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving
Not audible, Dr. Satish.
not audible, sir.
Video position.
Hello, not audible clearly.
Sir, is it audible, sir?
Now it's clear. Now it's clear.
Is it audible now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Is it audible, sir?
You're audible now.
Sir.
Yeah, iday close pannadu. Yeah, open matter.
Sir, now I Professor Girishan, sir.
Hello.
I request Professor Girishan, sir, to start the discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Satish.
Hello.
Respected Dr. Prasad, Professor Lazarus, Dr. Govardhan Naidu, and Satish. I'm very thankful for this opportunity. In fact, I endorse all the points highlighted by Professor Lazarus. In fact, one or two things I have also noted down, but still the thrust sir has indicated about the debating skills, language, field work, all very, very essential. Of course, I have also noted that point, but of course the language I did not cover. But I think I would like to raise some general points before I go to the specifics. I think we should understand and appreciate this is a non-conventional program. Unlike a conventional MA political science, MA public administration, or social work or anything, it's a non-conventional program. So I think the thinking, approach, evaluation, support from management, everything has also to be non-conventional. Because here we are, as Professor Lazarus highlighted, the investment is on leadership making or man making, or we can say personal development. And of course, in the long run, it is on nation building. So I think everything we have to look at in a very non-conventional manner. So including the evaluation, that's the first point I would like to make. Second, of course, Professor Lazarus also highlighted, we need to bring in or we need to drive in strong field orientation as part of this course. I think the outlines which has prepared by Dr. Satish has already given some space, like indicating field work in every semester probably. And when I say field orientation, I think I would like to look at it in 4 different ways. For example, in the first semester, they need to give more focus on understanding the society like rural, urban, tribal, coastal. So I think it should be well aligned while they study about the India constitution and administrative system and all that. I think they need to get a fair understanding, fair exposure of the field realities, how it's happening. I think Professor Lazarus also endorsed that point. And by the time we move to the second semester, in fact, I am touching upon the field work more. Field work, I think they are expected to get, since we look at them as more as futuristic political leaders, I think probably some focus on some election, because some or other way elections are happening, will be happening across the country. So I think they need to be actively engaged in election campaigning or even pre-poll studies and things like that. So they need to get an exposure on the election realities, even campaigning and studies and all that. And probably in the third semester, they're expected to work with an NGO or a community-based organization, or including a political consultancy agency and things like that. And one exclusive, last semester, I think they need to have a detailed work with political leaders. It could be an MP, it could be an MLA, or it could be a Jilla Panchayat member, Block Panchayat member, or even a Gram Panchayat member. Depends upon their interest. I think they need to at least one full semester, along with 1 or 2 other courses, they need to get a wide understanding of field realities working with the political leadership. That's what is when I say about the field, strong field orientation. That is the second point. So first is the non-conventional approach, which we need to think and we need to drill in. And second is the strong field orientation. And third, I think even the kind of faculty, I think we need to have a strong and very serious and committed faculty, because this cannot be like a routine conventional program. So even the faculty's approach and attitude should be very, very different. I think the commitment from the faculties also must be very, very different. And of course, we can say, while preparing an outline, we can come with a lot of fantastic courses, but do we get the adequate references for it? For example, the course like sociology of political leadership, psychology of political leadership, and all that. I think we need to be very, very choosy, and we should be very serious in looking through the references. And being a non-conventional program, I think we need to have a strong support from the management. Because being part of an institution which is offering this political leadership program for the last 16, 17 years, I am aware of the issues of sustaining a program like this. So unless there is a strong support from the management, university management and other, you can say the sponsors in quote, sustaining a program will be very, very tough. And of course, we also need to have a focused promotion or marketing for a program, because being, I think probably there is only, other than MIT World Peace University, probably the Mumbai University has started a program. They have, I am not very sure whether they have started a program this year. Probably Professor Mridul will be able to share his views on that. So not many universities are offering such a program. So it's truly non-conventional. So it needs a specific focus or marketing. These are the general things I would like to share. And in terms of the blueprint shared by Professor Dr. Satish, I think it seems to be fairly fine. But I would like to add, in addition to what Professor Lazarus indicated, I would like to endorse what Professor Lazarus, that a course on ethics, values is very essential for a leadership. Of course, I did not think of a course on family, but I think Professor Lazarus' point on family, leadership and family is very, very important. And also, I did not think of a course on language, but I think that language should be offered within the course or outside the course. I think providing adequate language skills, especially beyond the vernacular, a reasonable communication skills on Hindi and English. Of course, it's possible a foreign language can also be thought of. I think that's a very important point made by Professor Lazarus. I think the debate or communication skills, of course, Dr. Satish may have already embedded that as part of the political communication. I think I could see there is a course on political communication somewhere, the third semester, which was suggested by Satish. And I wish there could be some, not a conventional research methodology course, but I think something on research methods for political leadership. We need to think, because what is seriously lacking in the political leadership is scientific approach towards the issues, towards the field realities and all that. So may not be a conventional research methodology course, but I think we may have to think of a very unique, like a thrust on participatory methods, which so that within a short time they are able to grasp the field issues and field dimensions and all that. That can be thought of. I'm sure they need to get a fair amount of exposure on development welfare programs and some shortcut methods to monitor, evaluate, and all that. Because when we look at them, I think that's very, very important. And also can be a course on data analytics, because I'm sure the data provides a great strength to a futuristic political leader. So, an analytical skills of like large data, or you can say big data, I think they need to get a reasonable exposure. And of course, science and technology elements for political leadership also can be considered. Of course, we can assume, we can visualize a lot of things, but how we can bring in all these things as part of the course, that's a big challenge. And I would like to primarily highlight, along with the field orientation, I think we need to, I think Professor Lazarus also was highlighting, we need to bring in a lot of people as lecturers or eminent speakers like MLAs, MPs, and political leaders, party spokesperson, all that. And much focus thrust on internship. And also Professor Lazarus was highlighting about the study tour. I think that's very, very important. They get an understanding of good and bad practices across the country. But by looking at all that, I would like to come back to 3 points. One is the attractability of a program, because being is a non-conventional, how do we make this program very attractive and also financially viable? And on the sustainability of the program, and how do we maintain the quality of a program? Because this ultimately I would like to zero in onto 3 things: attractability, sustainability, and quality delivery, which not just in the designing a course, but also in its delivery. These are some of the key points. I think maybe if time permits, we can have a second round. Thank you. Dr. Satish, I've just shared some of my points. Satish or Dr. Govardhan? But in general, I endorse most of the points brought in by Professor Lazarus, like the thrust on debating, the thrust on language, the thrust on fieldwork. Hello? Satish or Dr. Govardhan is there? I think they have some communication error.
Hello.
Communication issue.
Hello, are you able to listen? Dr. Girisen?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, okay.
I think there seems to have some communication issue.
Professor Kodeshwar Prasad Garu to give some of the light on this curriculum
Okay.
structure.
Okay, good morning to all of you. And,
Very good.
Of course, I'm
Morning,
very
sir.
happy to see Dr. Girisen and Professor Lazarus Samraj after a long time. So I'm especially happy to see them, and I'm also happy to interact once again with Dr. Satish.
Sir.
Of course, the points that have been raised by Professor Lazarus and Dr. Girisen, everyone has to agree with them. There are no problems about because the emphasis on field work, learning, debating skills, or focus on languages, all those things are excellent, and I don't want to repeat them again. And I also endorse the kind of caution that Dr. Girison has been suggesting in having the course and also continuing it. And sustainability is a very important aspect. I know many innovative programs have been, actually UGC had once upon a time a scheme called innovative programs, and for 5 years they have funded, and after 5 years they have ended. But here is a program that you are thinking of, which is not having a funding from the UGC or another agency, but you are starting a new program. So one has to be very cautious in thinking about the program and in starting and creating and running the program in a very successful manner. Supposing that it should run for some number of years. Of course, it would be nice if it's going to be there for a very long period. I think I saw even in 80s and 90s, Jean Blondel having courses on political leadership in University of Hull, which used to be headed by Bhikkhu Parekh. And again, I'm thinking about political leadership sometimes. The handbook on political leadership says that is almost coeval with political science itself, that it is right from the beginning of politics, political leadership issue is there. So of course it might be slight exaggeration, but both of you have stressed how important political leadership is, and now and in future also. And Dr. Lazarus has given specific names of US presidents and also the name of Churchill, and there are also many other leaders who have been extremely influential in India as well as in many countries, who have been responsible for making their country completely different. For example, the leadership in Germany or Japan after the Second World War, or many other leaders, for the right or for the good things or for bad things. We do remember the political leaders, say in Korea or in some other countries. We remember them in different countries, or fascist Europe for some time. Some years we do remember different kinds of leaders. As Dr. Girison and Dr. Lazarus have tried to suggest primarily generalities, I will go to slightly more specific things. Actually, before writing down most of the papers that I had written, I have not consulted your own scheme. I was focusing primarily on the title of the course that you want to have, Political Leadership and Governance. And I was suggesting that political leadership courses already existed once upon a time, and probably they would be existing once in a way. And I didn't want to simply take them again from those different places. And on governance in particular, there have been numerous courses on governance in particular, and the thrust areas for the SAP programs in Bombay, Calcutta, and in Madras have been governance. So they have been focusing on governance quite a lot, particularly for research, and also public policy and governance, an MA program in governance, etc., are there globally. So if we are going to have, of course, there could be one paper, and most of the people who study about governance would know the name of Mark Beaver, who works in University of California at Berkeley, who had written the Encyclopedia of on governance, a short introduction, and 3 volumes on governance, and quite a lot of literature on governance. But not only he, his collaborators and different kind of people have thought about governance, and by adding a word before governance, most of the contemporary problems are health governance, educational governance, or climatic change governance, or environmental governance, which is much more popular. So many kinds of in so many ways, governance is being studied. So I thought that these kind of papers could be considered. For example, theories of political leadership. Again, I have not consulted it, so you can choose your own titles. So I try to be as faithful as possible to political leadership and governance. And I also thought that either directly or indirectly, these papers should address political leadership or governance. Working of Indian democracy, there has been quite a lot of debate in the recent past relating to Indian democracy and how it has been working, and particularly certain kind of people have been critical, extremely critical of the nature of democracy in India. And Professor Lazarus has been dropping.
Sir, your voice is very low, sir.
Okay, I'll try to raise, and you also may try to increase. Dr. Girisen, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I'll try to be slightly more louder. And there has been quite a lot of people who have been expressing their concerns about democracy in India. And in the 2000 and 2019, when democracy has been sliding in the perception of some people, there have been a lot of criticisms. And from India also, there have many people have been justifying or the kind of democracy that exists in India. So many conferences have taken place, books also have come. During the last one decade, there has been quite a lot of discussion relating to what is called populism, and populism in Europe in particular, and identifying populism with authoritarianism. And many number of authoritarian leaders have emerged in Europe, in Latin America, and in other places also. And also people have been trying to compare the populism. Professor Govardhan Naidu garu, మీరు వినగలుగుతున్నారా?
No problem, sir.
Sorry,
Audible,
if
sir.
I'm not
No
audible.
problem, sir.
I'll try.
It is audible, sir.
Okay, populism I've been saying, and in Latin America and all that, and people also had written. Ajay Godavarti has written a book, but there are many other people also have been comparing Modi's regime with such kind of populism. But so what I want to suggest is that we can try to understand through a paper on working of Indian democracy. You have been suggesting that we should study about the leaders. I thought that there could be 3 papers relating to prime ministers at the national level, leadership at the national level, leadership at the state level, and leadership at the local level. And these papers can be distributed in 3 semesters, and we can study, for example, the leadership studies in the United States in particular. We'll be talking about individual presidents, what kind of difference they have made to the American politics. So these leaders, for example, prime ministers, I'm titling prime ministers as leaders. I have chosen Jawaharlal Nehru, P.V. Narasimha Rao, Manmohan Singh, and Narendra Modi because we have only 2 units. And we can study the issues which these leaders have influenced. And also about these people, there has been significant literature in the recent past. There has been a new biography on 2-3 years old on P.V. Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh and Narendra Modi and Jawaharlal Nehru from 1950s, 60s onwards. There have been many biographies and critical studies have been there. And in the recent past, there have been criticisms and justifications about Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru's prime ministership. Many of you would have doubts, why not Atal Bihari Vajpayee, why not Indira Gandhi? I have thought about this issue seriously, and then if we are going to have Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and Narendra Modi, etc., there are certain kinds of issues. And in my opinion, there have been less critical studies about Atal Bihari Vajpayee by political scientists in a critical manner in terms of serious literature. That's my perception. I may be wrong. So one may, and at least indirectly, quite a lot has been discussed. For example, there is a study from United States relating to the manner in which the new economic policy has started and all that, celebrating 30 years of liberalization, privatization, globalization kind of program and things like that. So directly and indirectly, they're being discussed. So you can change that kind of perception, and you may want to think about it. I want to suggest in the first semester itself a course on gender and governance in India. Again, of course, I'm going to have a course on theories of governance in the second semester, 2 theory papers. So I've shifted to second semester theories of governance because that's also one area quite a lot of literature is there. But we can have, without introducing theories of governance, we can have only slightly minor kind of papers relating to governance. So I would suggest, again, women political leaders also, it is quite possible to have in a paper, and governance also it is quite possible to have. I think Carol Spray has one of the early articles relating to women political leaders, and that literature also is very vast, particularly if we are also taking into consideration women leaders at the state levels also. And instead of, because political, if we are going to have a paper, if you agree that we should have a paper on political leadership in Indian states, most of you are aware that there have been very good literature relating to most of the important leaders. For example, on Modi, for example, one of the best known, on VP Singh, who has been a chief minister and prime minister, or Rudolphs and Rudolphs on Chandrababu Naidu, on Rajshekar Reddy. 2-3 articles are there, including one or two in EPW. And the Norwegian scholars have published a book where there have been articles on Mamata Banerjee, and there have been articles on Jayalalitha. There have been very good articles on Karpuri Thakur. It is quite possible to have. That's why I thought that it will be, I would not be doing good justice to if I'm going to mention specific leaders. But of course, the leaders in Andhra Pradesh could be studied in greater detail. But the leaders in other parts of the country also could be studied, and then we can try to understand from what kind of circumstances they have emerged as leaders in the states, from regional parties, from national parties, in the early phase, and from communal political parties, and various kinds of questions could be thought about, and issues can be thought about, and then political leadership in Indian states. And another paper that I had thought about for second semester is Dalit movements and leadership. And of course, social movements is a very important aspect, and specifically it could be women, and a certain kind of things have been suggested as tribal and those kind of things. Again, Andhra Pradesh had witnessed quite a number of Dalit movements and incidents which have attracted the national attention, including in Guntur district and in other places also. Very important incidents have taken place. So Dalit movements and leadership, which kind of leaders have emerged from these movements, and what kind of leadership have been provided by them? And we know Mayawati and other kind of people, Bahujan Samaj Party, and many other kind of issues could be thought about. Dalit movements in some certain number of states, and certain kind of pan state, not only one state, in few states, these kind of movements may have taken place. I thought that we should study through one kind of paper. Interesting observations have been made by Dr. Gireesan relating to research methodology. I would fully endorse whatever suggestions that he has made, but I would also suggest that we can have 2 papers on research methodology. One on qualitative methods and quantitative methods also, because I think we have been focusing primarily on qualitative methods. Even in qualitative methods, certain very specific methods, but future is going to be primarily in quantitative methods. The rest of the world has been thinking too much about quantitative, even if we don't reach those kind of levels. But all the major universities, statistics people and social scientists have been collaborating a good deal. And we also should try to study research methodology. Of course, I do agree that we can try to think in terms of specific methods which are relevant for both leadership and governance, but also simultaneously think in terms of social sciences and have qualitative methods in second semester and in third semester quantitative methods. I'll leave it to your judgment, and probably we can make the statistics people to introduce to us that we should be taught the statistics methods. As you have been advocating project work and dissertations, etc., if they're going to take up any kind of quantitative kind of a thing, it might be useful if they're going to study it rather than going to a private agency and make him to do have data and then make him to justify whatever data that we may have collected. So just think about that aspect. And of course, after much deliberation, I thought that we may want to have 2 papers. Then another paper that I thought that is we could have paper at grassroots democracy and state local bodies relations. Before I go to the while talking about research methodology, I have jumped over. I was thinking that we should study a course on region and regionalism in India. And the reason why I chose region and regionalism in India is about the kind of controversies that have been going on in Andhra Pradesh in particular, and in future Vidarbha and UP, and probably there may be 20 or more agitation, Gorkha and agitations have been going on in different parts of the country, seeking separate identity, development boards, or separate state, or separate kind of status, or whatever the case may be. So region has and discussions on region and regional have become very, very important. And some of you would remember that Ashutosh Kumar has written a book using the state paradigm and thinking about region and regions, regionalism, etc. And of course, the discussions about regionalism may have been started in 1970s, 80s, etc. From Punjab itself. Professor Pradeep Kumar was one of the scholars whom I know was writing on regionalism, and before the new states have emerged, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, etc., he was working on those kind of issues. So, and again, keeping the local interest, Rayalaseema University, Yogi Vemana University, Rayalaseema region and Yogi Vemana University in mind, I was thinking that you may want to have a course on region and regionalism in India. Again, I'm also not just suggesting these papers. I do have significant literature on these themes. In terms of articles or books, etc. Also, I can the books themselves, or in the e-form, or I may be having the titles, and which can be procured easily by being a member of university library, working as a working staff member, to easy for you to go to get the books which you need. I was suggesting that in the third semester, grassroots democracy and state-local bodies relations. We have been one of the persons who had written recently about federalism. Quite a lot of people have been writing on federalism. Rekha Saxena, etc. Professor Mohit Professor Harihar Bhattacharya has been writing, Dillon has been writing, but not many people have been focusing on state and local body relations, or state and, for example, if we take finance commissions, or nobody takes any interest in what happens at the local bodies level. So I'm aware that enormous research has taken place relating to local bodies, local governance, etc. in 1960s, 70s, 80s in the form of PhDs. Now all those things have changed, but so what has been happening after the 74th and 75th amendments, and how, for example, to what extent the state has been fulfilling its responsibilities towards the local bodies. Earlier, there has always been debate between the center and the state relating to distribution of resources to the states, and whether there has been discrimination based upon party at the center and the states. All those issues used to be there, but nowadays, mm, even if in local bodies also the same party has been winning, the party that has been in power at the state level most often has been winning, unless the elections are held very late, or there is apathy towards the state government, they may be losing. Otherwise, even if that is there, they have not been encouraging the local bodies to the extent that they have to do. And I think most of the local bodies have not been fulfilling in accordance with the expectations, to put it in a very mild manner. I am aware that Dr. Satish has studied in the area of e-governance, and now people have been talking about digital governance, digital technology. And of course, earlier, last time when I was preparing the syllabus, I had made much of what big data and quite a number of things I was suggesting. I didn't go too much for that. Here, digital governance, I thought that we should have a course on digital governance. Again, I think both of you have thought about this, and I'm saying it in I was thinking that we should have a course on debates on majority minority religious groups. I was suggesting, again, multiculturalism, secularism. There could be different kinds of titles could be there for this one. So, but I'm amenable to your corrections or changes on this. But people need to know, because the minorities don't remain as minorities everywhere, and majorities don't remain as majorities everywhere. But which is a majority and minority, and there has been insecurity among the minorities. There is insecurity among the majorities that the minorities will dominate in the near future and things like that. And there are quite a lot of it has been taking place, particularly during the last one decade. Even earlier it has been there, and people had written, including Jeffrey Lott had written extensively during the last one decade. Many people have been directly and indirectly have been saying it. And if you want to change the phrases, you are welcome to do. Then another aspect which I thought that we should study as a course is social media's impact on politics. Again, earlier itself, people have been writing that the 2014 election of Modi has been credited to Twitter and all that, and 2019 election and regional elections and elections in the United States, elections elsewhere, and not only elections, in between elections also. Now, Azim Premji University and CSDS had recently released a book on state-society relations in between elections. And social media is more active during elections, but it has been active at other times also. And what is news and what is fake news, to know about it, people have been struggling, and it has been having significant influence on politics. And it has been And people, particularly media studies scholars and political scientists who have been working in the area of political communication, also have been working on what kind of interaction has been taking place and how it has been impacting specific elections, specific leaders, and the manner in which they impact the people at large. Of course, whether you talk about it as a rhetoric or various kinds of things. So I thought that we can have a course on that. I would suggest that the last semester there could be only 2 papers, and in lieu of 3 papers, you can have a dissertation. I suggested, you were also asking a question. I have not been able to read now, but I remember that you want to think about in how many number of credits should be given to a dissertation. Supposing that if you are giving 4 credits and 4 units to each paper, if you are going to do in lieu of 3 papers, 12 credits may be given to the dissertation. So I was suggesting that there's a new book by edited volume, if I remember right, by Rajashekar, Decentralized Governance and Development in India. And once again, we can study many issues. Dr. Girisen would also be interested in such a kind of theme, and to what extent this could be linked to development in India, we can try to think about. Another paper which I thought is about which there has been a lot of discussion, particularly during the last 1 decade, that is about governance of autonomous public institutions. We know that Neeraja Gopal Jayal and Pratap Bhanu Mehta had done on political institutions in India. I think Ting Park, had a book in 1959, Political Leadership and Political Institutions in India, edited volume or something like that, as early as 1959. And the political institutions, how are they, kind of a thing. But again, I'm suggesting that we may want to study about autonomous public institutions, and I have named RBI, Election Commission, CAG, and Central Vigilance Commission. And again, there may be, if you want to change one of these institutions, it's okay. There may be a number of institutions, but I thought that 4 units means 4 institutions. There has been a lot of discussion about Election Commission, as you know, appointment and working, and Election Commission, Supreme Court, and union government, and various issues. RBI autonomy, though at the moment there is not much discussion, but at the time of appointment of last governor, demonetization time, and subsequently, there has been quite a lot of discussion relating to the autonomy of RBI and the dividend that is not only sought but taken away from RBI whenever the union government is in need of funds. So what I'm suggesting is we may want to understand about how RBI may have been functioning, and CAG, and you are aware of Vinod Roy, and the present CAG retired, went as governor, and came back as CAG, kind of a thing. The manner in which the CAG has been functioning, and we don't hear too much about CAG's criticisms against the union government and all that. Well, okay, I'll not elaborate on those issues. Also, Central Vigilance Commission, also how the governance of these public institutions, how they have been taking. On some of these things, on Election Commission, there is plenty of literature is there. Amita Huja and a couple of JNU scholars and other kind of, there is good literature on Election Commission. RBI, indirectly, directly, some literature is there, primarily by economists. CAG, etc. Primarily structural dimensions are there, but we may have to locate where they have been discussed, and probably from people like Sridhar Madhabhushan, Sridhar, who is there in as dean in a university in Telangana, such kind of people. Uh, I think he was there in Central Information Commission as commissioner as earlier, and probably if we want to mention change from CVC to CIC, also it may be okay. But CVC is what I have proposed. You may want to consider these kind of things. As Dr. Girison has suggested, this is a very vast kind of an area, and every one of us can suggest many papers, and we also have to try to ensure that there is no overlapping is not there, and there is sufficient literature is there, sufficient quality literature is there, and we will people and quality teachers would be there to teach these kind of things, and we'll get very good students, and we'll have the right kind of tools to judge the students. All these aspects are question mark maybe, and some of you would be critical that not possible, that is too heavy, such kind of criticisms could be made, but it's up to the people who are in Kadapa who may want to try to think about it. And if you want any help on these points, I'm willing to do it, and I'll get the literature specifically on whatever literature that I'm saying exists, and I'm prepared to share that kind of literature with you. And I think I don't know how long I spoke, but again, if you are asking specific questions, I'm prepared to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Prasad, engagement in
Satish, you are not audible.
Sir, some problem is there in my. So, could you hear me now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir. Professor Koteshwara Prasad, sir, you have given a wonderful inputs and academic building in this course. We are happy. I must say I must congratulations, give honor for all the faculty members for the development of this curriculum of this course. All the inputs given by the expert committees will be taken into consideration without overlapping the course. And I must say thanks to Professor Lazarus Samraj for suggesting wonderful papers regarding debates, leadership and family, leadership and integrity, which is connected to moral values. And he stressed on the importance of the language communications in different dynamics, vernacular or international, local, and other regional languages. He also suggested the fieldworks of successful stories from the various regions of the India. And he also suggested Vadalur village, one of the peculiar village which is sustained with all the amenities. And he also stressed the to classify the good and bad governance in respective villages in India, and which we can which stressed on problem solving and to study the problem and the part of the problem and part of the development of the villages. And he stressed on the human building as well as national building. And
Volume is too low, Satish.
Sir, some problem is there in my cell, sir, and I will wind up. And regarding Professor Girish, sir, he's given a lot of inputs like understanding society through constitution, strong fieldwork orientations with NGOs and political leaders at the local, national, and international level, if possible. The issues of sustainability is also taken into considerations. And he also suggested the research methodology of political leadership. And he also stressed on participatory methods, developmental welfare, data analytics, science and technology, and study tour programs and participations. Regarding Professor Koteshwar Prasad has given a lot of inputs in the development of this course, like theories of political leaderships, working on Indian democracies, popularism in Europe, and popularism in various states. And another paper on leadership at national, leadership at state, and leadership at local level, gender and governance in India, and leadership, political leadership in India and in Indian states, qualitative research methods and quantitative research techniques, which are collaborated with
I also joined with
statistics and
Professor
social
Koteshwar
sciences
Prasad in suggesting
experts.
apart from
Grassroots
this
democracy,
discussion,
state and local bodies, region and regional in India, and as a region and regionalism in India, digital democracy, which includes big data, data, and he also suggested the debates on the majority and minority, gender, etc. Social media impact on politics, and he also suggested the 2 papers in 4th semester and the remaining 2 papers for fieldwork. This thing, and the paper on governance of autonomy in public institutions like RBI, SAG, Central Vigilance Commissions, Election Commission, etc. And I am thankful to all the faculty members for giving a wonderful inputs for the development of this course. And I want, I invite Dr. Govardhan sir to have a few words regarding this curriculum structure. Sir,
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir, for your spending more time and busy schedule to encourage this course and give your suggestions are very good, sir. And always we try to continue your cooperation, sir. And we will implement definitely, sir, in your implement all suggestions. So which are very useful to the continuation of this course. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I want to intimate you that Professor Mrudul Nail is busy with some other work and unable to attend this work. And after evening or day after tomorrow, he told that he may also give some suggestions regarding this curriculum, this thing.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. See, I also suggest you to add
Sir.
teach them the latest techniques like handling the computer, handling the WhatsApp and social media and all. They should be
Sir.
technologically innovative.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for.
Thank you so much, sir. And due to technical problem, we are unable to take a proper communication with you all, sir. But we received all the inputs from you.
Thank you.
And
It's very nice to see my friend Professor Kodiswara Rao. Kodara Kodiswara Rao. And again, and also my friend from Gandhigram, Greeson, and also to involve with Dr. Sadish, the innovative, young and energetic faculty from Kadapa. And thank you very much. May God bless
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And also the Dean, Govindana Naidu.
Govardhan Naidu.
Huh?
Govardhan
Thank you,
Naidu.
sir.
Govindana Naidu. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Satish,
Sir.
can I make one or two comments?
Sir, sure, sir.
Okay, in addition to what Dr. Prasad was telling, because Sir was talking about leadership at national, state, and regional level and all that. Okay. I have a small suggestion. It must be important whether it is part of a course or whether it is part of an assignment. I think every student should study biographies of at least 20 to 25 great leaders from international, national, regional, and state level as part of this 2-year program. At least 20 to 25. It could be based on the philosophers, it could be political leaders, it could be people based on some ideology and all that. That is one. Secondly, I think every student need to go through cases right from at least few cases of the past. It could be about the Golden Temple attack. It could be about the Bhopal gas tragedy. It could be about Ram Janmabhoomi issue. It could be about Godhra tragedy. Whatever it is. Some of the relevant cases which happened in the past. Because bringing everything as part of the syllabus may not be possible, but we need to think and bring in all such kind of things as part of the course. Okay. And again, I will come back to the same point. The 3 points, the quality of the product, which includes the outline as well as and more on the delivery. And secondly, about the attractability of the program, which also goes with branding, marketing, and sustainability. Because when it comes to sustainability, I think that is going to be the big challenge for a conventional, non-conventional program like this. We can think of putting up a special request to the government, state government, because being a state university, maybe some kind of a seed money to initiate a YSR Center for Excellence in Political Leadership or something like that. Because unless there is a adequate support, financial support from the state government or from any sponsors, sustaining a program is not that going to be easy. So I think that has to be kept in mind before we take any further step forward. Because I think the thrust has to be on 3 things: the quality of the product, attractability of the program and its package and marketing, and third, sustainability. I think these 3 points need to be discussed and deliberated in a much more greater way. I think I leave it to Professor Prasad and others to comment on.
Sir, Professor Prasad, sir.
You are not audible, sir. Your volume is, I think you are on mute. I think you are muted, sir. You are still in mute.
Okay. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
all. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Okay,
you
bye.
so much for all the technical.
Thank you. Thank you. I suggest Satish to send the redrafted, what I say, the updated
Outline.
syllabus to us.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Lazarus Samraj, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Girishan sir.
Huh?
Thank you, Girishan sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Very much.
Koteswara Prasad sir. Thank you, Koteswara Prasad sir.
Thank
So-
you. Thank you, Andy. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good, good. Nice, nice. Thank you.
Nice meet with you, sir.
அதாவது
Satish, the meeting ended? Hello?
Yes, sir.
The meeting is over?
Yes, sir. Over.
Okay, okay, okay. Dr. Satish is there?